Y'all know I wrote a book, right? It's called Buy a Game and it's free. Click the link down there, you got it.
DreAllDay.com.
My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and today we're talking about the Bugle Boy. Yeah, the Bugle Boy and Alexander the Great. I'm gonna get into that story in a minute. Again, introducing myself. Hometown Philadelphia, now living in Miami. Company's called Work on Your Game Incorporated. My name is Dre All Day, also known as Dre Baldwin. Background pro athlete, played basketball overseas 9 years. Now I'm a mental toughness, confidence, and discipline expert who's done 3 TED Talks, 5,000 YouTube vids, 4,000 blog posts, publisher of 12 books. Got a daily podcast called Work on Your Game. I'm on all the social media platforms, do coaching and consulting and professional speaking. And today, Alexander the Great. This is a story of when Alexander and his army were on the battlefield. Now, if you don't know, Alexander the Great got his name because he was great. He had control of the largest area of land of any ruler in the history of the world. No ruler controlled more land than Alexander the Great did at the time Alexander the Great was doing it. Now, the exact time frame, listen, you can Google that or Wikipedia it if you really need to know, but that's not the point of the story. At one point, Alexander the Great and his army were in battle, as they had been many times, and while they were in battle once, on this particular occasion, Alexander's army was not winning. They weren't winning in this particular battle. They were kind of coming up short. And Alexander wanted to let his soldiers know, listen, we're losing this battle. It's time that we retreat. We need to get the hell out of here because we're not winning this one. We'll take the L on this one. We'll regroup and come back and fight another day. Now, mind you, this is way back before there were no smartphones now. There were no radio. There was no Bluetooth. Okay, so they had to communicate by things like smoke signals or sounds. They had horns. They had this kid who played the bugle. This bugle boy, his job was Alexander would tell him what was going on, and the bugle boy would play a certain tune to let the entire army know, hey, this is the message from Alexander. They all knew when you hear this, it means this, you hear that, it means that. So they had this bugle boy, and Alexander went to the bugle boy and said, listen, bugle boy, we are losing this battle. You need to play the trumpet of defeat, the trumpet of retreat. Because when all the soldiers hear the trumpet of retreat, we'll start retreating and we'll all get out of here. So everyone gets the message because everyone hears the bugle, and then we'll all get out of here and we can fight another day. So Alexander, mind you, he used to fight with his army. So he was out there fighting just like everybody else was fighting. He wasn't sitting in the back watching it and saying, okay, it looks like we're losing. No, he was out there fighting himself. So he ran, told the bugle boy what to do. Then he went back out and kept fighting right there alongside his soldiers in this battle that they're losing. So a few minutes go by, no horn sound. The bugle never played. And Alexander, while he's fighting, he's thinking, okay, why hasn't he played the horn? Because the sooner he plays his horn, the sooner we can get the hell out of here so we don't all die. So Alexander runs back to the bugle boy again. He says, bugle boy, we're losing. Play the trumpet of retreat, the trumpet of defeat, so we can get the hell out of here. But then Alexander goes right back out. Again, he got to keep fighting because he's losing men as they're losing this battle. So he goes back. He keeps fighting on the front lines with his guys. Horn still doesn't play. The horn, the trumpet of defeat, still has not played. So Alexander finally runs back. He runs back again to the bugle boy, and he says to the bugle boy, finally he stops to have a conversation with the bugle boy. He's like, bugle boy, I told you 2 times to play the trumpet of defeat, play the horn of retreat so we can get out of here. We are losing the battle. And he says, what's going on? Why have you not done what I told you to do? The bugle boy looks at him and says, Your Majesty, Your Highness, whatever way they addressed Alexander the Great. Well, we have a trumpet. We have certain trumpets. There were certain trumpets that they had based on what message needed to be sent. And the bugle boy said, listen, I didn't even bring the trumpet of retreat. The trumpet of retreat that I own, I didn't even bring it with me because Your Majesty, Your Highness, I mean, we always win. We always win in these battles. So I stopped even bringing the trumpet of defeat because all it was doing was weighing down the baggage that I had to carry with me, and I knew we would always win. So all I bring is certain trumpets. The only trumpet that I have is the trumpet of victory. That's the only one I have, sir. I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry. And Alexander said, the only trumpet we have is the trumpet of victory. You know what? Play the trumpet of victory. So the bugle boy plays the trumpet of victory. Alexander is already back out on the battlefield when everyone hears the sound. The trumpet of victory is playing. And understand that the only person who knew that Alexander's army was losing was Alexander and the bugle boy. But the bugle boy said he played the trumpet of victory. It's not like he's out there talking to anybody. He just plays the trumpet of victory. And guess what the soldiers do? Alexander's soldiers, when they hear the trumpet of victory, you know what that means to them. That means to them When they hear the trumpet of victory, they're trained to know that means we are very close to defeating this army. All we need is one last push of momentum and we will wipe them out. We'll win this battle. Even though they were losing at the moment, the trumpet of victory played because that's the only one the bugle boy had. And guess what happened? All of a sudden, Alexander's army started fighting with vigor. They started fighting like they knew they were a couple minutes away from defeating this army, which they were actually losing to. But each soldier can't see the entire battlefield. All the soldier can see is what's going on right in front of him. So he's like, oh, we about to win. They hear that trumpet of victory. They're like, oh, we about to win. This is about to be over. They started fighting harder. And all of a sudden, not too much time passed. All of a sudden, Alexander's army won the battle that they were losing, that they would have retreated from had the bugle boy brought the trumpet of defeat. But they ended up winning that battle because the only thing the bugle boy had was the trumpet of victory. Now, what the hell is Alexander the Great, bugles, hand-to-hand combat, and who knows, ancient times, this was ancient. What the hell does any of this have to do with you sitting in a boardroom right now, driving to work right now, sitting in your office right now, watching me when you're supposed to be working? What the hell does any of this have to do with you and your business in 2000 and whatever year it is you're watching this, 2016? What does this have to do with anything? This is what it has to do with it. When things are going their worst, when things are not looking good, when things are not turning out the way you thought they would turn out, you do have a choice. Maybe you didn't choose the circumstance. Maybe you didn't choose the opponent. Maybe you didn't choose the weather today. Maybe you didn't choose the way things have turned out. You probably didn't if they're not going your way. But you can choose whether you play the trumpet of defeat or the trumpet of victory. Alexander's bugle boy had no choice but to play the trumpet of victory because he stopped bringing the trumpet of defeat. He didn't, as far as he was concerned, he didn't own the trumpet of defeat because he never faced defeat. He was just used to winning so much. He said, you know what, I ain't got to bring this no more. I'm just bring the trumpet of victories. I know we're going to win. It's just a matter of when I'm going to play it. You could be the same way. In your mind, you got a trumpet of defeat, which is as soon as something goes wrong, you ever know that person, as soon as something goes wrong, they automatically start getting negative? That's a trumpet of defeat. There are people who play their trumpet of defeat so often is the only trumpet they have. Their trumpet of victory has rusted out. They can't even use it. They sold it on Amazon.com because they know they're never going to use it again. There's some people who only have a trumpet of defeat. And there are other people who only have a trumpet of victory. There's some people who got both. Some people who have both trumpet of victory and the trumpet of defeat. Sometimes they win, sometimes they lose. Up, down, up, down, up, down, good, bad, yes, no. You know, people like that. That's where most people are. 90% of the people in life are right there in that middle. They got both trumpets. Whichever way is looking, that's the one that they play. Then you got the people who are always defeated. There's 5% at the bottom. Then you got the people who only had the trumpet of victory. That's the 5% at the top. Alexander the Great, he was in that 5%. Which group are you in? Trumpet of victory, always. That's the only trumpet you have. You might not play it all day, but guess what? When the sound needs to be played, you play the trumpet of victory, and all of a sudden, things start changing. All of a sudden, the momentum turns. All of a sudden, your army starts fighting. Your army, meaning your mind, your body, your soul, your spirit, your energy, your hands, your legs, your feet, your arms, your mouth. Everything starts fighting a little bit harder because you just told it that you are a few minutes away from having success. Even though you might actually be a few minutes away from losing. But you play the trumpet of victory, and listen, your army is trained to do what they're supposed to do based on the sound that they hear. So when you play the trumpet of victory, the army is trained to start doing a certain thing. No matter what you know in the back of your mind, when you play the trumpet of victory, there's a certain response that's going to happen. Now, how often are you willing to play your trumpet of victory? Where is your trumpet of victory? And when is the last time you played it? And do you even remember the tune? Everyone, my name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day. Social media platforms is right up there, or they may be right down here. We put them in different places at different times. Where do you find me? Website is called dreallday.com. I got content coming out here damn near every day. I got a podcast every single day. It's called Work on Your Game. And I'm going to leave it at that. Where's your trumpet of victory? Dre All Day.